Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. Little old notebooks. You know, the ones that, well, this one was actually from an op shop, so even better. We come across these notebooks, they're nice and they're simple, they're all the rest. How do we jazz them up? Show you. So here's one I prepared earlier. So it's now got a cover. Here's our notebook, same sort of thing. This one, what I've actually done with them and what I'll show you how to do is it's slid in here so that the notebook can be replaced if you wish. Okay, this just slides straight in like so. Move him back up so he's not quite so far down, but the whole thing is covered. They make great gifts, great secret Santas. So I'd like to say very quickly, this may be a slightly longer one. We'll see how we go. I have got a lot of things prepared. Right, here's our notebook. Your notebook is going to be a different size because they come any way, shape or form. So the size that I am using, and they are literally ones that I found at an op shop, are about 10.5 centimetres or 4 1/8 of an inch by not quite 15 centimetres or 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/8 of an inch. Okay, but as I said, you'll make it for the size of notepad that you've got. I always start with chipboard. Now you can get a couple of cereal boxes, glue them together so that they're nice and sturdy. Otherwise this is, you know, I suppose it would be, I don't know, let's have a look. A 16th, is it a 16th do you call them? Or about a mil. So it's got that sturdiness, but it's not really heavy. So this one is done, as I said before, this is just under 15 centimetres, and you'll find that I've swapped between. So my actual chipboard is just over. And the easiest way to do it, just sit your notebook on your chipboard. Give yourself a little bit of a border all the way around. Okay? So on your sides, top and bottom. I cut a full strip. Hang on. A full strip that was the right height. Okay, then I've measured along for what I want my border to be. So in this case it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 5/8 or round about a bit over 11.5 centimetres. I've given myself a centimetre piece in the middle, which for, if we're going in inches, is 2, 5, 6 sixteenths. Is that right? There to there. Or 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch. There you go. So yeah, that'd be 6 sixteenths. Yeah, 3/8 of an inch. And then my next side is exactly the same size as this one. Okay, so that these two are identical. And this will be our spine, like so. All right, nice and easy, truly, really. I will start with my spine. Now, get yourself some tape, packing tape, something like that. I've got some, what they call craft tape. So it's kind of like a packing tape, but it's just that craft colour, slightly glossy. I will cut myself a piece that's going to be longer than my spine to start with. And I like to use my grid. If you've seen me by now, you'll know that I always use my grid. I will sit this, am I about middle? Yes. I'll sit this on my grid so that it's round about even. So depending on the tape that you've got, so this gives me my centre point here. Okay, so this one is my centre point. Try and do it with the same This is the hardest bit, really, because you've got to try and get it off your fingers once you've put it in place. Roundabout. This is just me making it hard, I think. Let's go there and there. So we're roundabout. Right. What I want to do is lay this in the centre. Okay? So if I set that down, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but somewhere in that centre. Okay. Now I'm going to trim off my overhang. So there's one piece. Just fold that way so I don't keep getting stuck on it. And that one. So my sides now, which are these ones, okay, I want to give just a little bit of a gap. You don't want much, just a little bit. So when I bring this up for you, you'll see that there's just a little bit of a gap, which gives you enough room to fold that in, okay, without it catching on it. So same with the other side. If you need to, line it up on your grid so that you've got a nice straight line to go to. And do exactly the same down this side. So round about, oh look, it would probably be that 1/16 of an inch, that mil, one of those, just so that when the whole thing folds up, it will fold neatly without it actually catching onto them. Give that a push. So there's your outside. And now do the same with a strip of tape on the inside. So I tend to cut mine first because it makes it a little bit easier to manoeuvre. And we're just going to go straight down again over the two. Like so. I'm actually going to turn that the other way now because see, I didn't come all the way down the bottom. I want to make sure that that's on the inside now and not the outside. So I can turn that way. Just so it's got a slightly tidier finish on the outside. Even though all this will be covered, I'd much rather have that extra protection on the outside. Right. Technically, there's our little notebook cover. How hard was that? Really, how hard was that? Right, I'm going to do the inside first, but what I'm going to do to start with is actually cover my notebook. All right, so that's done, dusted, can be set aside, and we can do all the rest of this. What I want to do is cover the outside on here and this side, so that when you flip it up, you've got a pretty picture going on the other side. What I'm covering it with, these are just copies of my master boards. So just my scraps that I've had left over. I'll glue them all on to a sheet, an A4 sheet, 12 by 12 sheet, anything like that. And then I'll just copy them off so that they're on a lighter piece. And I can use them because they're all the colours that I like anyway. But I really like this section up here. But I need enough to go around onto the top of that. And we'll see where I want it to go. So I'm quite liking that section just there. So I'm just going to trim this off down here. And I should have put my trimmer on the top, not on the bottom of the pile that I have going on down here. So I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller so that I've got some workable space. So I'll glue all of this. This will sit on here like so. And then I'm going to fold this bit up. Make sense? So all of this will be glued. But I find because it's a notebook especially, and it'll be flicked up, I'm going to double-sided tape all of that. And then glue the inside. I'll move my craft tape over out of the way. So I'm just going to run around with the double-sided tape to start with. I just find I get, especially on the corners, it'll just give me a little bit more, I don't know, it's probably more of a security blanket than anything else because I know it's not going to go anywhere. And I suppose it depends on the glue that you use, on whether it's going to come up or whatever. But I find that it makes me feel better. How's that? And let's face it, whatever works for you. So if you're a double-sided tape person, use that. If you're a glue stick person, use that. If, I don't know, there's all sorts of things, matte mediums, all sorts of things. So that's that one. I'm going to grab a glue stick. I'm still trying to work my way through these little ones. Mind you, there must have been more in there than I thought because I did the entire of that other one yesterday, and I'm still using it. Right. That's all laid down. I'll peel off my double-sided tape now. To get glue all over my fingers, because that's what I do. Can't see it working if you don't have glue. Right. Holding that nice and straight. And I'm going up here. Once that's on, it's on. It's not going anywhere else because it's just a collage sheet underneath. Ah, lovely. Don't matter if it's not 100% straight. Okay. Just give that a good push. Make sure I've got no air bubbles in there. Lovely, lovely. Right, I can trim all that off. You can use your knife, you can use your scissors, whatever's going to work. As I'm running up the side of the notebook, I can get my scissors because I can kind of be straight with that. And then I can get that bit just in there like that. I'll set that onto there. Now we'll do this side. This is nice and easy. And our bottom part. Right, so there's our front cover of a notebook. We can decorate that further if you want. And now I'm going to just pop. Oh, look at that. Nicely done, Kylie. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? Find the end of that one. Now this is just the 6mm tape, 1/4 of an inch, 6mm, whatever you like, and it should fit this notebook beautifully. If it doesn't, you can just fold the rest over. You don't need to sit there and keep trimming and all the rest. All right, give that a good push. Now try and get it off. Here we go. All right, I found the easiest way to do that is just to bend that back over like that. It'll give it a nice deep push. If you want to ink it up, just give it a little bit of an edge. And the front of your notebook is done, unless you want more decoration on your notebook. But you've got to remember the notebook will be used and hopefully have another one go in. So, and that's why I'll quite often use the collage sheets, because they give a lot of detail on the front of your notebook anyway. So I wanted, here we go. I love these guys. I love these guys. I think they're really sweet. And yes, I'll get all those butterflies. So this is, again, one of my masterboards. And it's just my scraps, but then I've got some stamps on there as well. So if I make that just a little bit larger, that way it gives you that option if you've put it on crooked or whatever else. So I'll just trim that off to there. Up there, like so. Sit your there. Oh, no, we'll have another side, won't we? I really want that butterfly. Again, I'm going to make this a little bit larger. I'll do that to about there. Right. So now what I'm going to do with this one, and because it's on the inside, I'm just going to glue this one, and it'll just glue onto like so, and then I can trim around it. Okay, so I will glue this section, and it'll all just be done with my glue stick. So make sure you give yourself a really good coverage. Try not to get on the actual notebook part. If you're worried about right up the top, pop a scrap bit of paper in there, and then you're going on the scrap piece of paper, and you can then take that off and you've got none on the actual notebook. Right to your edges. Down. All right, lovely. Let's have a look. Move my glue bit away. Make sure I'm up the right way because I want it up that way. Because it's just glue stick this time, I've got time to manoeuvre if I need to, because it's not the double-sided tape, so I'm able to actually move it around as I put it in. Once again, I'll give it that. I'm going to just push that one down and go from there so that all that's in. Lovely. Once again, we can trim that up. That's our notebook done and dusted, and we can sit that to the side ready to go. Oh, no, it's not quite, but we'll go back to something. I'll show you something else in a moment. Now, we're going to attach this notebook, as I said, with a little slit pocket. You don't have to. There is an easier way to do it, or a quicker way to do it, I suppose, would be the best way of saying it. And that's just with like a belly band, so just a little strip that you can slide it into. But I think this way looks neater. Looks like it was meant to be, but it does take a little bit of work. So we'll go back to this one. We know he's done. And back to our actual cover now. I've got a piece of manila folder. You should know I use my manila folder all the time. It's a little bit sturdy without having too much weight to it. And what I'm actually going to do is, so I've cut this piece to the same width as my original piece of chipboard. It doesn't have to be the full length. It just has to be enough to tuck this in. And what we're going to do is cut a slit in here. I know this is where I said it gets a little bit hard. So we know it's the right size for that. So now we're going to get our notebook out. We don't want it too high up. You want to give yourself a little bit of room at the top. You know when you've popped your notebook on, you've got that little bit of room. That's why we've made this a little bit longer. So I'm going to set this in here. We're going to make a pencil mark. I'm going to go that way so that I can see that I'm straight. I'm going to make a pencil mark down each side of where my notebook comes. But we need to go a little bit further, just so that it'll fit. Watch and see how easy, really, it is. So if I pop this on my grid, I want to go a little bit down. I need to make that pencil line a little bit longer. I'm going to go about that far down. So I'm just going to sit this on a line here. Just picked a line, any line, for about the distance I want to go down. This was the size of my notebook. So I'm just going to take this along here for now. I'm just going to go straight from line to line. Okay? going to slide down just a little bit. There's our initial line. This is our next line. So it's really only a small amount, a couple of mil or, you know, a 1/16 of an inch, something like that. I'll bring this up and show you in a second. So here's our two little slots. Okay, this we know is the exact same size as our notebook. When I do these, I don't want to cut straight down here because it leaves this sharp edge which could tear it. It won't because we've got double-sided tape around it. But for, again, my security blanket, I always give it a rounded edge. And I do that with my knife. So what I'll do is I'll just slowly go round, bit by bit, so that what I end up with is a rounded edge. Okay, I can't do it up here, sorry. I'd go straight through my fingers. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So we're just coming out a little bit further than our initial line. They don't have to be perfect. And all I've done, so I'm just using the tip of my knife a little bit. Don't try and do that. Speaking from experience, be patient. Okay, so just a little bit by little bit, and you're just taking it kind of like a perforation. So that now what you've got, so you can see how I've gone past my initial line. So what we want to do now is see that our notebook fits. Now, these notebooks have these. Yes, you could leave that in with just a strip across here, slide it in and have that, but they're not necessarily going to match my colouring anyway. And it has this lovely little book over it. So I chop these off. And I mean, I chop these off. I only need my notebook to be about that. Doesn't have to be straight. Because what's going to happen is this is going to slide in here. Okay, so that's, yep, beautiful. That will now fit in there. And that will fit in there. But that's a bit ugly at the moment, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to cover this with this attached. Get my drift? Now, my covering that I'm going to use is this one. I like this. I haven't worked out yet whether I want my top section or whether I want this bottom section. Might just use this bottom section, I'm thinking. So I just need to trim off my white edges. And I think this could be a graphic fairy one, graphics fairy. I've had it for a while and I knew it would come in handy for something. So let's hope. Is it actually even going to fit? That's the thing. I never even checked to see if it'd fit. Yes, it does. All right, so if I'm going to use the bottom bit, I'm just going to take out that one. So I'll get out my larger one with a larger ruler. Take off my white edge. Pencil's not going to do it. I need a knife. All right, that's that. Now I know that we've just worked out that we want, this is my inside one. We're doing our inside first. So this is going to sit in here like that. That's how it's going to be glued on. We'll start this side and work our way around. Now, I'd like it even. So let's have a look. So my middle point, if I slide that up, this is just me being pedantic. That'll give me that. That's about even, isn't it? So I'm going to trim that off there. because this is going to be my starting side. This I can trim off when I get to the edge. So we'll do one more cut. You'll find after you've done these a couple of times, you can just knock them out. This is going to sit in here. This one's going to sit in there. This is going to be, and again, I'm just lifting this up a bit because I want that extra that I can trim off. This is where it's going to finish. Okay? So, just down here. So we need to trim that bit off as well. Now, I don't have a large... Oh, look at that. It's 2 inches. How hard was that, Kylie? So I always wanted a little bit larger, but I need my top section to be able to glue my my slit pocket in. So that's that. That's that. This is the hardest bit in it because you've just got to think what you're doing. All right, I'll move that one. So technically, this is going to go in here, and I'm going to go from the top. But to do that, I need this one in here first. Okay, now we know we've got it so that it's like that. So it's a little bit away from the edge. So I'm going to glue this in here to that. A little bit away from the edge and up the top. Make sense? Right. To do that, I'm going to use double-sided tape because double-sided tape will give me that little bit of extra oomph on my manila folder so that it will take rough handling, etc. So I'm going to go that side and I'm going to go this side. And then I'm going to go down the sides. Like so. Now I'm going to go down here. But I need to go past that bit. I don't want to cover my little slit hole at all. Down there. Okay. So that's given it the extra protection that it needs, so that when it sticks on here, it's all going to be nice and firm. So if I start peeling these off, now, you can see we've gone over. Now, I could sit there and chop that with my scissors and get my scissors really, really gunky. So we're not going to do that. Now, peel it up, and then you'll just fold it back on itself. Okay? So much easier. Don't get your scissors all gunky. So this one is over a little bit as well. So we're going to do the same thing. Just fold it over. It's nice and soft, double-sided tape, so it will allow you to fold it over without you getting your scissors all gunky. Because, let's face it, yes, we can clean our scissors, but really, who cleans their scissors every day? I know I don't. So, most times, I'm struggling with gunky scissors enough as it is. Why would I want to add more gunk to them? So, just fold it over. Alright, and then our last one, which I probably should have got off before I did that one. That's all right. This is where my knife comes in handy. There it is. Right, so that can be stuck. Make sure we're going on the right side. That's our side that we'll be looking at. That'll be here. So it'll go right up the top, but just a little bit in. That's Bertha, sorry. I forgot to look at the time before I started. There we go. So now we've got that extra sturdiness there. So now it's just a matter of following that one again. You've already done it. You can do it with your ruler again, or you can just follow these down. It's up to you. It depends on how well you work with a knife. You will find if you try and do it with scissors, it'll be a little bit harder. So just do try with a knife, but please, 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 please be careful if you're using a knife. And back around into my little, so I'm just doing those little perforations, and you'll always see my knives have the tip of them off because I do this all the time. And I do all my fussy cutting with my knife, and so yes. So now that, look at that. So now what I've got is my little slit. So if I put this on here, I've got this lovely little slit in here, like so. All right? I can see raw chipboard through there. I don't want to see raw chipboard through there. Oh, look, here's my piece that I trimmed off. So I'm just going to put, let's have a look, about that by that. Doesn't have to be beautiful. And that's going to go up here. Okay? So that when I sit this one on now, I've got that there. So we'll just stick that bit down. How about we roll out the glue, because that always helps. And we're just going to stick this one in here. Sorry, was that my hair in there? Like so. All right, so now when we stick this one down, again, I'm going to double-sided tape that top section just to give it a bit more sturdiness around here. But we're not going to stick down here with this, okay? So we're just going to do our top section. And I'm going to run down there. The rest will all just be glue. But it's given me a bit more of an oomph down there. Okay. And then the rest of this will all just be glue. I'm going to turn it around so that I can see, because I'm going to just pop that there. Make sure I'm all nicely lined up, and then this will all be stuck down. And I'll start on this side. So, how wet's that? We might turn that round because it's getting a little bit sticky. You can see where I turn it round regularly. There we go. We'll go that way. All right. So none of this I want stuck down, because I want to be able to slide my notebook in there. And my notebook is now, see, only this length. So I'm just going to be sticking this part. Okay, so straight along there and down. I can peel off my double-sided tape. Make sure I'm not going over my edges. Fold it back over. Doesn't matter with this side if I've gone over an edge. Does matter if I actually leave the double-sided tape on there though. There we go. And then this one. And once again, just fold that back in on itself. Like so. Alright, and now we're going to glue. Remembering you've got double-sided tape on there, so once it's down, it's down. Right, so what I've got here, see? So now, and it'll always be tight when you first do it. And that. See? Just like that. So yes, it's a bit of mucking around, but it works a treat. And yes, it gets easier the more you pull it out. So now we just need to stick the rest of this one on. So I'm just going to use my double-sided tape again, just around my edges, because it's quicker and easier. And then I'll just use glue in the centre. Straight down. I'm moving all over the shirt today, aren't I? Sorry. I will come back up, I promise. And a little bit down there. And then I'll just get the glue stick and give the rest of it a go. Like that. Right up to it. So that you don't end up with too many air bubbles. You're probably going to end up with an air bubble, but not too many. Alright. Get rid of that big glob. Just peel these ones back. Can't get my fingernail in there. There it is. There's one. This one I might be able to. Yep. And two. We'll start going through as we go. Taking the last one off. Letting it fall. And then giving it a good push. An old credit card, something like that, store card. If you don't want to use a credit card. Store card. This is a pot scraper. I love it. And a friend gave it to me for Christmas last year, and it just works a treat for all of this. I'm sure she gave it to me as a pot scraper, but, you know, I don't cook. Look at that. So there's your centre with your bit for in here. Now, you could always put a pocket on that side as well, and now we can just trim off our excess. It's so much easier to trim it off once it's actually on there than trying to match it up beautifully each time. All right, and then along this one. And then all we've got is our front cover. Now, our front cover technically is just... let's do that with... So I told you I'm no good with scissors. Look, I don't do scissors. Right, let's just do that like we should have done in the first place, Kylie. There you go, look at that, beautiful. So there's our outside edge. Give that a little bit of character. For me, it's character. And our front cover is just putting that on again, giving ourselves a nice base. Now, I find with these ones... Depends on how you want to cover them. I like to be lazy, and I'll be the first one to admit it. And I like to just do that full piece straight through. So for me, I need something that is going to be you know, if we go centimetres, you're looking nearly 25 centimetres. If you go inches, you're going 9 3/4 inches all up now. So, you know, an A4 sheet like we were using before, but in a landscape one, or you can use, so this one is an old dictionary. It's a really big old dictionary. Love them. Now I also have old music sheet. And I love these, and these are in a book, landscape style book. So what we're going to do with this one is do a music themed one. But I thought because of it, I'm thinking of putting that where the spine is, because it'll fit that perfectly. And then I could put something down there. I could do some numbers. I could do something else. So what I'm going to do with this one is trim it to this line to start with so that I know where I want to go from. Okay? Because it's up and down. So I need the other one, don't I? So we need to go on this line. So I'll use this line as a gauge. Like so. And this is my, if I sit it over the top, this is my spine. So really it needs to start, you know, about here. I'm going to start on this side and work my way around. So yeah, so I need to start it about here. So I'm going to trim that up there. And the rest I can trim off. So if I sit that there, that on the line, I'm relying on you guys to tell me I'm straight, because I can't see that far over. All right. So that's that one. And we will start at the back and work our way forward. I'm going to double-sided tape right around so that I get that extra oomph on the edges. And then we will, I don't need that ruler anymore, just slide him back over there. Down there. Across. Oh, this is the 12mm tape. I just find, I know it's only a smaller notebook, but I just find when I'm doing covers, regardless, I just pull this size out. Just habit. I am a girl of habit. Alright. Put you away. Pin that tape. There we go. So we're going to start this side. So I'm just going to use my glue stick still. So even though I've used my double-sided tape, we're still going to use some glue stick in there to hold it all down in the centre. And I'm going to go to round about my spine. So we're going to peel this one back. Go about here. Because it is double-sided tape. Once it's on, it's on. Point of no return. Making sure at this stage and that's why we check, because I've turned it around and that's now my front. Don't want to do the front first, I want to do the front second. Always check that you're not going to go upside down. Okay, just word of warning. So So that's that one. We're going to go this side. See, it happens to the best of us. Just always check. So technically, that should be the back. Yep, that's the back. Probably should have checked before I started gluing, but we hadn't stuck it down. All right. Now we'll go again. Because I've already trimmed the piece that's going on here, I want to start at the back. Can't then flick it over and go to the front, just in case as it folds round, it becomes a bit too short. So I've trimmed this side and left my other side overhanging. Right, so this is going to go on here. Match up your corner. Match up just before it goes any further. I'm just going to double check. Yep. We're just going to push that down. Give it a good crease. Now we've got to our folds. I'm going to fold it along it. Like so. Okay. So now we can do the rest. Just give that, it is still quite tacky. Just put that extra on there and move that around. I'm amazed. It mustn't be as warm here as I thought it was. Right. So now we're going to go around. And down. Look at that. Nice. So there's, oh look, almost perfect. So now I can trim it. We'll see how we go with the scissors again. Okay. Look at that. Ah, special. Right. There's a little book. That'll go in there. Now, before I put that in, I want to do my front cover. So I've already pulled out some things for the front cover. So I found this, which is it's a sticker, but it's all music related as well. But then I've picked out these colours to go in here, like so. I'm really liking that. This is me. I want some lace. So lace-wise, colour-wise, I'm going to use a different lace to the last one. I've got a wide lace there. It's not really a good colour though, is it? I really need to go. So now something like that would work underneath it. No, too wide. Maybe we go that way. Maybe we go that way. What do you reckon? That would look all right, wouldn't it? Let's just use that. That was nice and easy, wasn't it? Hey? So that was nice and easy. So if we just edge around to that before we start sticking our lace, and then that's all done and dusted, give it a bit of grunge, just so it looks like it's been well loved, handled, for me anyway, because that's how I do my vintage bits. Right, so that's that one. Thinking I want that on there. I'm just going to trim that bit off so that it's easier to handle. Now, that bit's a little bit rough up there, so we're going to go down here. Like so. You over there. And we'll start down here. This one's going to sit in here like that, and over there onto that, and this one's going to go down there like that. How's that? All right, so we'll get this lace attached. Now, for my lace, if I can get off my edge, we want to go where there's solid bits in the lace. We want the glue to come out. All right, so we know that there's a bit there. You're going to come out. Oh, come on. See, it is colder today. Because yesterday, as soon as I undid the lid, it was coming out everywhere on me. So we're just going to do bit by bit. All right. So that's what I plan to do with this lace. So, and I know there's another bit there. So we'll just go around to our little... Oh, it doesn't want to come out today, does it? And the next one. Straightening it up as I go. Like so. Up to our top bit, which is really only that. I'll just, yuck. All right, and then I can trim off this excess here so that it fits it beautifully. All right, so our other one is this, which is going to sit up here. This one's going to sit down here like so. And I'm wanting, of course I'm wanting, I've always got this sitting around. Let's just put in a little bit of that. Like so. Okay. And that'll go under both of those, I'm thinking. Just so there's a little bit of oomph going in there. Yes, once again, I will use the double-sided tape to hold that one in place. And we're nearly done. Woohoo. So I'm just going to lift that out. Just going to lift that out. I'm going to put my double-sided tape just there. Right. Just so that it's held it in place while these guys get stuck down like that. All right, so this one's a sticker, but now because it's going over the lace and the cheesecloth, it's going to need a little bit more oomph onto it. So, actually I might go the darker one with that one. Sorry, now I've just picked up gathered twigs. I've been using brushed corduroy all the way through, and now I've just picked up the gathered twigs. I've got them just sitting with their own blending tools in front of me, just so that I've got different colours. Just so that that one's, yeah, a little bit darker. Right, so as I said, these ones are stickers, but because I'm now putting them on the lace, I just want to give them a little bit more oomph. Right. So I'm going back with my fabric glue, and I'm just going to give it a helping hand, I suppose. So just a little bit, not everywhere on it, but I just want to give it a helping hand because it's going over that fabric. And the last thing you want is to give this to somebody and then have this fall straight off. Right. That there. I need to see where I'm going. Right. So we know now, and it's easier to turn it over and push it that way so that you're not putting too much pressure on that spine before you've got your notebook in there. Right, and this one was going down here. I'll just use my normal white glue, liquid glue for that one. Which again will give it a bit more oomph than just my glue stick. So yeah, not even this is running that well today. Whereas yesterday I had, I don't know, avalanches with the glue. All right. Just need to get rid of that white core. These were fussy cut out. But I just like to get rid of that white edge. Right. Right. Need to trim up that little bit of lace down the bottom as well. Like so. Lovely. How's that? So we now slip our little notebook in. As I said, it'll be a little bit tough to start with, but over time they will there we go. Right, how easy, really. It's taken us an hour, not quite an hour, with a little bit of talking. But once you get going with them, they're so easy to knock out. And yes, pop a pocket in there if you want. But how are they? You can decorate the back, you can decorate down this side. But really, aren't they a beautiful little gift? Somebody would love to get those. You're worried about Secret Santas, what you've got to give. Look at that. They're awesome. You could do a male one if you wanted to. So I hope I'll move my chair back. I've just realised I've been sitting on an angle where I got into my lace drawer. I hope you've enjoyed these. I hope they give you some ideas for gift giving. They are a wonderful little thing to make. And they're also good for using up your scraps. So, you know, I hope you've enjoyed it. I really hope you've enjoyed these. If you have, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're still with me and you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. Thank you very much. Love you all. And thank you until next time. Happy crafting. Bye.